Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, one community is looking to boost the number of visitors to the area, and now they have created a tourism group. And the House is working on legislation to prevent a possible railroad strike. What that includes, coming up.
Well, it's chilly air on the way as we head into tonight, but it's looking milder toward the weekend. Latest breakdown ahead as Mountain News at 5:30 starts now.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Local tourism here in the mountains has grown during the last several years, and one Eastern Kentucky county is looking to take part, aiming to bring more people to the area and keep them here. WYMT's Alyssa Williams caught up with the Hayden Leslie Tourism Group to learn more.
22-year-old Derek Baker and his friends Andrew and Cameron knew they wanted to help their home of Leslie County grow in any way they could.
And when we saw that other counties around us were flourishing and, had some ideas that we'd like to do also, we took advantage and, we want to put those ideas into action here.
That's why the trio created the Hayden Leslie Tourism Group, aiming to put this Eastern Kentucky community on the map.
None of it would be possible without the small businesses around the county supporting us and the mayor. It's just an amazing feeling to be able to, take this community to another level, where it wasn't before.
Hayden Mayor Carol Joseph says she is excited for local tourism to grow. She adds that she hopes this group can reach a younger audience as well.
I'm really excited about it, and I'm really enthusiastic about everything that happens here. I choose to live here. I love this place, and I want everybody to.
Those of the group say they not only aim to make Leslie County a destination for travelers, but a more enjoyable place for people who live there too.
And I think this area was lacking with tourism for a long time. And, with the loss of the coal industry in this area, you really saw a decline in population, people moving away to find jobs. So with tourism, we're hoping to bring some people back in here and show them what it's really like to live in the mountains.
Hoping to make Leslie County a great place to visit and an even better place to live. In Hayden, Alyssa Williams, WYMT Mountain News.
Hayden Leslie Tourism officially began 2 weeks ago. Those with the group say they have several ideas for the area, including a potential music festival for Eastern Kentuckians to enjoy.
A quiet weather day for us throughout the day today. We will continue to see quiet and cold weather as we head into tonight. Here's a look outside from UVA-wise at this hour. Already in the 30s there. Beautiful sunset wrapping up out there. Slate along the Mountain Parkway. Another look there at a beautiful sunset. They're already at 38. It's 39 just down the road in Irvin. Already lower 40s sneaking into the region. Still a few mid-40s out there, Jacksboro, Manchester, and in Harlan. But for the most part, we will continue to see temperatures on the chilly side as we head through tonight. All quiet out there for us. The last of our showers with that frontal boundary pushing through West Virginia and Virginia earlier on today. So keep that WYMT weather app handy as we head through the nighttime hours. You see we're falling down into the 30s and for some of us eventually into the 20s as we head through the overnight. Details though on when we return to some milder air in a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. The House took up a bill Wednesday to prevent a possible railroad strike on December 9th. The development comes after President Biden met with lawmakers, urging them to step in. CBS's Skylar Henry reports from Capitol Hill.
Vote. The yeas are 290, the nays are 137. The joint resolution is passed.
With the clock ticking, House lawmakers voted to adopt a tentative agreement to block a potentially crippling national rail workers strike.
A shutdown would grind our economy to a halt and every family would feel the strain.
The move imposes a contract brokered by the Biden administration back in September that includes a 24% raise over 5 years, despite opposition from several negotiating unions.
It's unthinkable that the 4 railroad unions are holding the nation economically hostage.
Lawmakers also passed a second piece of legislation that would add 7 days of paid sick leave to the agreement.
Most Americans do not get these generous leave policies. This is blatant political pandering.
President Biden asked Congress to step in, warning a rail strike could cost the U.S. economy up to $2 billion a day.
This is a deal that has a lot of benefits.
Economist Jonathan Wright says a strike would put a strain on shipments of coal, lumber, grain, and some holiday gifts.
If one piece of that, if the financing piece, if the transportation piece gets disrupted, that would be a very big threat.
The emergency measure now goes to the Senate.
The key issue is the working conditions in the rail industry, which are absolutely unacceptable.
If the bill doesn't get to the president to sign, a strike could begin next Friday. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Labor Secretary Marty Walsh and Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg will reportedly meet with Senate Democrats tomorrow. U.S. House Democrats have made history with their pick to succeed Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi as their party leader. Today, the party chose current caucus chair Hakeem Jeffries to serve as House Minority Leader next year. The New York Democrat will be the first black person ever to lead a major party in the House or the Senate. Jeffries ran unopposed for the position. He will oversee a Democratic minority in 2023 for the first time in 2 terms. This is not the first time Jeffries has stood out among the leaders in Congress. In 2019, he became the youngest member serving in leadership when he became the chairman of the Democratic caucus. 2 more officials in Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' administration have been named in a lawsuit over migrants being flown from Texas to Martha's Vineyard 2 months ago. DeSantis' chief of staff, James Uthmeyer, and DeSantis' public safety czar, Larry Keefe, were added to the suit. A woman named Perla Huerta, believed to be a lead recruiter of the Central and South American migrants in and around San Antonio, Texas, was also added. The suit accuses them of working together to deceive the migrants into accepting transportation that ultimately took them to Martha's Vineyard. Nearly 50 migrants were flown there, only to find there were few resources or jobs. Wisconsin House Speaker Robin Vos is expected to be questioned by the January 6th committee. Vos had sued the panel in September in an attempt to block the subpoena, calling for his testimony. Vos said the House Select Committee wants to ask him about a conversation he had with former President Donald Trump following his loss in the 2020 election. There is mixed reaction to the historic step to protect marriage equality in Washington. 12 Republicans joined with every Democratic senator to approve legislation cementing federal protections for same-sex and interracial couples. CBS's Nicole Killian has more.
The bill, as amended, has passed.
As the Senate approved the Respect for Marriage Act, a thumbs up from Justin Kettler and Tim Lecker, who have been watching the legislative process play out for weeks from Dallas.
We're moving in the right direction.
In the back part. The couple runs a home design business and has been married since 2017, 2 years after celebrating the Supreme Court's landmark ruling legalizing same-sex marriage.
And that added security and protection and rights that are inconsequential to so many people except for us.
What a great day.
Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin is the first openly gay senator in U.S. history and sponsored the legislation to codify marriage protections into federal law.
What does this legislation mean to you? I have in my public life been fighting for equality, fighting for freedoms and progress, and we want to just make sure we protect that moving forward.
The bill does not legalize same-sex marriage nationwide, but does require the federal government and states to recognize legal same-sex and interracial marriages performed in other states. It also includes religious liberty protections, but Republicans were split.
This legislation will put the weighty thumb of government on the scale against religious organizations and individuals.
LGBTQ rights can coexist with religious freedom protections.
The vote was prompted after the overturning of Roe v. Wade, sparking fears same-sex marriage rights could be next.
It shouldn't be this difficult or this complicated. It's 2 adults who love each other fighting for the same rights.
The House has already passed a similar measure and will take up the Senate version as early as next week. There's been a real push by Democrats to try to get this done now during the lame duck session before Republicans take over the House majority next year, which could make it tougher to pass. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Russia's upper house of parliament unanimously approved a controversial law banning what it describes as propaganda of LGBTQ issues, pedophilia, and gender reassignment in advertising, books, films, and the media. The bill has to be signed into law by Russian President Vladimir Putin. It passed the lower house of parliament on November 24th. The bill proposes a ban on all Russians from promoting or praising homosexual relationships or publicly suggesting that they are normal. The original version of the law, adopted in 2013, banned propaganda of non-traditional sexual relations among minors. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, if you're making your holiday shopping list, experts say you should consider adding refurbished gifts. What to watch for when you shop for pre-owned items.
Plus, warming up later on this weekend as some showers may move back in. That full breakdown ahead.
WYMT News app offers alerts on breaking stories as they happen, customized to the categories you choose.